Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever noticed how quickly our modern debates just go off the rails? Whether you're scrolling online or chatting in person, it feels like disagreements instantly turn into personal attacks, sweeping generalizations, and just a complete breakdown of communication. But what if there was actually an ancient blueprint for solving this exact modern crisis? Let's dive right into this explainer and explore how the Islamic framework provides a highly refined, 7-part system designed to absolutely elevate our conversations and solve the whole problem of toxic intellectual friction. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to hit 6 core areas: the foundations of civilizational dialogue, remembering God and respecting symbols, objectivity in discussion, fairness in judgments, the boundaries of discourse, and finally, a refined system for coexistence. All right, let's start with Section 1, Foundations of Civilizational Dialogue. The source material maps out this really fascinating, complete 7-part framework. And all these distinct features feed into one central goal: civilizational dialogue and Islam. What this proves is that the approach here is not just about trying to win an argument or owning the other side. It's actually a deeply structured methodology built entirely around respect, mutual understanding, and our shared humanity. Moving right along to Section 2, Remembering God and Respecting Symbols. So the crucial point of the first feature is that true dialogue strips away our personal egos. Think about how many arguments happen simply because someone wants to look the smartest in the room, or they're just defending their pride. The Islamic framework mandates prioritizing the reminder of God instead. This means we aren't calling people to follow our own worldly desires, our specific tribe, or our personal superiority. It unites humanity under a shared, much higher spiritual purpose, which instantly levels the playing field for everyone involved. Now check out this second feature. It's the principle of not insulting the religious symbols of others, and it's based on this incredibly powerful verse from the Quran. It explicitly forbids mocking or degrading what other people hold sacred. And honestly, this is a stark contrast to how people usually mock each other in debates today, where sarcasm and insults are basically the norm. The logic here is so profound. If you insult what they revere out of ignorance, they're probably going to turn around and insult what you revere. Establishing respectful boundaries is the absolute prerequisite for any civilized exchange. That brings us to Section 3, Objectivity in Discussion and Ideas. To pull this off, the framework perfectly combines its 3rd and 7th features. Feature 3 calls for addressing issues through scientific discussion, while Feature 7 demands that we focus entirely on facts and ideas, never the individuals. We're talking absolute objectivity here. When we debate, we dissect the argument itself, not the person who's making it. Ad hominem attacks, insulting someone's character instead of actually addressing their point, those are completely outside this framework. To back this up, the source highlights a fascinating psychological reality. Repression breeds extremism. It's true. If people aren't allowed to discuss their ideas openly, those ideas just fester and eventually turn toxic. And that is exactly why intellectual openness and wise dialogue are strict mandates in the system. As the text from the Quran instructs, inviting someone to the truth must be done with wisdom and excellent instruction, essentially keeping the door wide open for healthy, scientific debate. Okay, on to Section 4, Fairness and Equity in Judgments. For the 4th feature, which is not judging people's intentions, there is this really powerful historical anecdote in the source material. It's the story of the Prophet's profound rebuke of his companion, Usama bin Zayd. So during a battle, an enemy soldier declared his faith right before Usama was about to strike him. Usama assumed the guy was just lying to save his own life, so he went ahead and killed him anyway. When the Prophet found out, he was deeply upset and asked Usama this amazing question: "Did you tear open his heart?" It brilliantly illustrates that we are only permitted to judge apparent outward actions. The inner workings of a person's heart, their true intentions, those belong entirely to God. And that leads us perfectly into the 5th feature, avoiding generalizations in our judgments. It is so incredibly easy to see one person make a terrible mistake and then instinctively blame their entire community for it. We see this all the time. But this Quranic principle establishes strict individual responsibility. If someone commits an error or a crime, we absolutely cannot unjustly extend that blame to their family, their tribe, their nation, or their entire religion. Fairness means you judge the individual based on their own actions, period. Next up, Section 5, Boundaries and Principles of Discourse. So the 6th feature is all about knowing our boundaries. It dictates that we must not exceed the boundaries of discourse. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means keeping our advice gentle, especially when we're speaking to those in authority or people we strongly disagree with. It means remembering our actual role in the conversation. We're meant to be gentle guides pointing toward the truth, not absolute judges or some angel of wrath sent down to condemn people. Our only job is to convey the message beautifully. True guidance is ultimately up to the divine. Finally, we reach Section 6, a refined system for coexistence. When you stack all 7 of these features together, prioritizing God, respecting symbols, engaging in scientific dialogue, assuming good intent, skipping the generalizations, keeping gentle boundaries, and focusing strictly on facts over egos, you get what the source material calls a refined system for coexistence. It creates this environment where completely diverse religions, cultures, and viewpoints can interact dynamically, and they can do it without the constant fear of injustice, marginalization, or oppression. It literally transforms dialogue from a battlefield into a bridge. I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought today. Take a second and look at the text messages you sent today, or maybe the comments you left online. Are your daily conversations building a civilized world, or are they tearing it down? How could you apply this 7-step civilizational framework to elevate your own daily interactions? Just imagine the massive shift in our global culture if we all stopped trying to tear open each other's hearts and started focusing on facts with genuine respect. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this framework sparks a bit of a revolution in how you approach your next great conversation.